Okay, so back when I taught you guys how to do exponent properties, I told you, when I first teach this to students, I have them regroup. Okay, so and it really, on a problem like this, it's really going to help us out a lot. So I'm going to regroup because it's all multiplication here. I have my numbers, I have my U's, and it looks like I have my V's. Okay, my numbers, I have 4 and 3. So 4 times 3. For my U's, I have U to the 1/2 times U to the -2. And then my V, I have V to the -1/3. Okay. So now I'm going to do my individual groups here. So 4 times 3, 12. I have U to the 1/2 plus -2. So I'm going to do this off to the side. So same base, add the exponents. That's the property. So I have 1/2 plus a -2. Now I'm going to put that -2 over 1 because I'm dealing with fractions here. All right. Now, I also told you guys, try to do this manually, at least for a while, until you get, that rust out of your brains about adding and subtracting fractions. But if you're struggling too much, just go to your calculators, okay? And maybe the next problem I'll do calculators. So I have to find the common denominator here. Remember, when you're adding and subtracting, I have to find the common denominator. Now, if you want to put minus there, that's fine because we're adding a negative. I'm going to go ahead and just leave the plus sign in there. Okay. So it looks like my common denominator here is going to be 2. And I don't have to make this 2. It's already a 2, so I just keep the numerator. Now, this 2, I had to multiply this 1 by 2, which means I have to multiply the numerator by 2. So -2 times 2 is -4. Now I can combine them or add them or subtract them, however you're doing it. And I have 1 plus a -4 is a -3. Okay, so I have 12. Now, if you want to do this in one step, go ahead, you make your fraction now, but I'm going to do it in 2 steps. So I have U to the -3/2 times my V, there's only one V, to the -1/3. Okay. Now remember, you cannot have negative exponents, so these I'm going to have to flip. So I'm going to have to put this in a fractional form. And I have my 12. And I'm going to have to put this U in the bottom. Shoot. So used to making Y's. U to the +3/2. And my V, I'm going to have to flip. V to the 1/3. Well, there's my answer. A lot of work, especially when you start adding fractions manually, right? Okay, let's look at number 5. Any questions on number 2? Okay, number 5. All right, so number 5, we have this time we're starting out with a fraction. Now, these are really, really even difficult to read. So I'm going to go ahead and circle my constants as a fraction. And then I'm going to go ahead and circle my x's and make it a fraction by itself. And then my y. Okay, now let's go ahead and do some of these. It's going to be a fraction. I'm not getting rid of my fraction just yet. I have my numbers. Well, I end up with 3/4. It's already simplified. There's nothing to do with the numbers. The x's. On the x's, I have 5/3 in the numerator. And I have, I crossed my line through that. Is that a 5/4? Yeah, okay. So 5/3 minus a 5/4. Now, if you do this manually, great. But this is getting a little up there with a lot of work, especially if you're rusty with fractions. I might go to a calculator on this one. Okay. So I've got my 5/3, and I always put fractions in parentheses because that way I don't have to worry about PEMDAS because your calculator is very, very strict with PEMDAS. So I have my 5/3, 5 divided by 3, subtracting 5 divided by 4. I'm going to, white sticky note. Do you get mad when I make fun of you with this? Okay, good. Because I don't want you to go to administrator and say Mr. D's a jerk. All right. So I subtract 5/4 from 5/3, and I get 0.41666666 forever. Now you're thinking, well, Mr. D doesn't allow me to use decimals. I need a fraction. So I'm going to hit my math button, and hit enter twice, and lo and behold, it changes to my fraction. It's different it's different depending on the calculator. Yes. Oh no, it should be the same. Yeah, you can do it that way. Now, you should get the same thing. Also, with different calculators, I've got one of those TI-84 pluses. It depends on what software you have, too. So I can't do every calculator because even specific calculators have different software. So you're going to have to play with your own calculator, how to do fractions with it, okay? All right, so this equals 5/12. So my x, see, it's a positive 5/12. I'm going to go ahead, put it in the numerator, and put my 5/12 there. Okay. And y to the 1/2, well, it's already, I don't have anything to do with that. That goes in the numerator. It stays there. It's positive. I'm done. So you could see how much easier it is to do this with a calculator than do it manually. Okay, up here I did it manually. However, on the SATs, you have a whole section of no calculator tests. So you're going to have to be able to do this manually. Just saying. All right. Let's see. Do we need to do another one? Let me check my list here. I think I'll do. Oh, let's do number 7. Yeah, that's on my list. Okay, so let's do number 7. All Again, there's many different ways to do these. I'm thinking to myself, well, what would be the easiest? And there's no easy way to do this. I may do this 2 steps at a time. Okay. So notice that I've got a power to a power, so I have to use the power property. I need to distribute that exponent to both of those exponents. And at the same time, I'm going to regroup these as my x's and my y's, just so it's easier to read. So my first x here, x to the -1 times 1/4 is -1/4. Okay, times the other x, which is x to the -1/3. Okay, now I'm going to do my y's. Y to the 3/2 times 1/4. Now, this isn't too bad. Multiplication is easy to do with fractions. Okay. The only thing that you have to worry about, or you really don't have to worry about, but what you should do is cancel out any common factors top to bottom before you multiply. Now you can multiply straight across and then simplify it. So it's up to you how you want to do it. Okay. Here, there's nothing to cancel out. Okay. There's no common factors top bottom. So I just take the 3 times 1, 3, 2 times 4 is 8. So this is going to be y to the 3/8. Okay, that's this y. Now I've got this y to put in there. So times y squared. So now I've got 2 sets of fractions here to add together because same base being multiplied, we add the exponents. So I'm going to have to add -1/4 plus -1/3. And the other one, the other set, I've got 3/8 plus 2 or 2/1. Now, you could do these manually. Maybe I'll do one manually and one on a calculator. Okay? So I'm going to have to need, I'll do this one manually. I need a common denominator for 4 and 3. And that common denominator is 12. Okay. So the way I got 4 to be 12 is I multiplied it by 3. So I'm going to have to multiply the top by 3. 1 times 3 is 3. This one I multiplied by 4. So -1 times 4 is -4. When I add those together, by the way, you notice that I just multiplied these together. Now, sometimes that works, sometimes it don't, because there might be a smaller one. Okay, so -3 plus -4 is -7/12. So I have x to the -7/12. And now I need my y's. And this one, I'll do on my calculator. I've got my 3/8. 3 divided by 8 plus, now 2 I don't have to put a fraction in because the calculator is going to do that. I'm going to hit enter, math, enter, enter, and I get 19/8. So my y is 19/8. And now I'm going to change that -7/12 I need to put it in, remember that's over 1. I'm going to put my x to the positive 7/12 and my y to the 19/8. Okay. Now, there were a few more problems that students requested, but I think I did this types where you should be able to try doing them on your own. Okay. If you need specific help, don't forget the tutoring is available during the day, during the school hours, anytime. Just I think it's on my. I think I put it on the Google Classroom. So join the classroom, then click on that link. Any questions, guys? I think I did a couple of examples, good enough to get you through the rest of the problems. And you can always email specifically too. I can't do problems through email. It's got to be in a Google Meet because it's just too hard. Are we good?